Clarence Henderson. Actor, Steve Guttenberg. CNBC's Chris Matthews. And activist, Clarence Mason Weaver. And now, the star of Politically Incorrect, Bill Maher.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you. Well, you can afford to be in a good mood. You don't have to do all the explaining that the Clintons have to do. They're still trying to explain all those donations and all that kind of financing raising that they've been doing. And Clinton said today it was clear to everyone, whoever came to the White House, that no money was being asked for and that they were not selling anything. They're not selling the Lincoln bedroom. And now to head off another controversy, he said it was also clear that lost or items misplaced will only be held by management for 30 days. That's... Now, some good news for the Clintons. Hillary Clinton, I guess as you saw, won a Grammy last night. We reported that already. Yes, and in honor of her, the band that gave her the award changed their name to the Shredding Pumpkins. Yeah, did you see the Grammys? It's a good way to catch up on the music scene. I didn't realize a lot of things, like Boys to Men. I thought that was the way you addressed a package to Michael Jackson's house. I was completely... I'm kidding, of course. Well, have you heard about the big romantic news? Apparently, James Brown, the godfather of soul, has proposed to Rolanda. That's all right. You can be happy for him. He's proposed to Rolanda. And she, I don't know, I think she's thinking it over. She feels he might be a little old. Because he is actually hooked up to a sex machine. Now, And finally, this is really an indication of how really stupid people are. The FDA has proposed that on bottles of non-prescription medicine that you buy in the drugstore, they change the wording because people apparently can't, like, discard. When it says discard the medication, discard apparently is too much. They're changing it to throw away. I'm not kidding about this. Medication is being... Pills. Don't say medication. And where it used to say insert, they just say cram it. Anyway, thanks for coming. It's all been satirized for your protection. Thank you, folks. Thank you very much, and let us meet our fine panel. He is an outspoken radio host, syndicated columnist, and the author of It's Okay to Leave the Plantation, Clarence Mason Weaver. Clarence, great to meet you, sir. Thank you very much. He is the Washington bureau chief of the San Francisco Examiner. He's also the host of Hardball on CNBC and the author of Kennedy and Nixon, Chris Matthews. Nice to see you again. All right, the star of Diner, Cocoon, and Three Men and a Baby, his new movie is Zeus and Roxanne, Steve Guttenberg. There, Steve. How are you? And she is not the mother of the Brady Bunch, but she plays one on TV, our old friend Florence Henderson. Hello, darling. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, it's time once again for our Prince Rogers Nelson Get Over Yourself Award, which we give out from time to time to the person or persons most in need of getting over themselves. Tonight's award goes to Tom Coburn, and seldom have we had a more deserving recipient or one who more provokes the question, who the hell is Tom Coburn? Tom Coburn is the Republican congressman from Oklahoma who earlier this week said that NBC's airing of Schindler's List took network TV, quote, to an all-time low with full frontal nudity, violence, and profanity. Mr. Coburn, to say your understanding of both history and television is wafer thin would be an insult to wafers everywhere. But let's start with television. There certainly are thousands of candidates for all-time lowness in our medium, but usually one thinks of Circus of the Stars or Models, Inc., or the episode of Dallas where they tried to pass off the whole season as a dream. That's lowness, okay? The full frontal nudity you referred to in Schindler's List was not meant for titillation. The people in Schindler's List aren't fashion models, sir. They're in a concentration camp. Fashion models are thinner. Television, which so often does wrong and, yes, does harm by numbing our senses and obviating our imaginations, television also has enormous power to do good. And this, you moron, was one of those rare examples. When 65 million people in America, almost 3 times as many as ever saw it in the theater, could be moved and reminded of something, they should be both moved and reminded of. Now, I know today you issued an apology, but you'll forgive me if I have the slightest bit of skepticism about a politician backpedaling when the heat comes. So, in the future, leave the cheers and jeers to TV Guide and get over yourself. Okay, now, we can discuss this, but here's the thing I want to mention first about this. The network, NBC, who aired this, got virtually no calls of complaints.
Exactly.
A congressman.
From Oklahoma.
Well,
I'm shocked.
Spare me.
Oklahoma's a fine state. But
why is it that whenever we have white people on television naked, it's pornography, but if it was a National Geographic survey movie from Africa or South America somewhere,
That's right.
it would not be a problem. Am I missing something here?
Well, I think it was because they were Jews.
Oh.
That might be the problem.
so you're saying there's a double standard?
Well, it's a little jungle fever probably would help him a little bit, but it seems to me that frontal nudity is nudity. He had a problem, I believe, with the entire movie and did not want to admit it.
I think you're right, though.
I think he did too, and he probably suffers by comparison.
Ooh.
I mean, if he were nude.
Oh.
I caught it immediately.
Why, Mrs. Brady?
I know, I was so offended by that gentleman. Truly,
Yes.
I was. I mean, you can watch Married with Children and see more awful
Right.
things than you could ever do in a, as you said, this movie was meant to be educational. I mean, and it's the truth. I mean, how could he even open his mouth like that?
Right.
It seems like there's many times politicians just have the opportunity to open their mouths because they get to be heard.
Yeah.
And he needs to be heard.
And he needs to...
Sure, there's 50 states.
Well, he's
and
from
he needs
Oklahoma.
Right.
Absolutely.
He wanted, this was a time to, like, get a little FaceTime.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
said
See,
something.
you know, C-SPAN. Hi, I'm
absolutely,
here.
I'm on.
Tom, go ahead.
I think the thing that kids remember from that movie, and no kid's ever going to forget, is that kid hiding in the toilet.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
know, with the army coming after you, the police coming, your country's coming to kill you.
And you know what's
That's
ter-
the thing kids are going to remember from that movie, and I think that's something they should never forget.
You know what moved me about that? Because you probably didn't grow up as I did, but I grew up with an outhouse. And I want to tell you, seeing that scene brought back some horrible memories to me. Yes.
You're talking about the little house behind the little house on the prairie.
Yes.
I didn't know that. Where was this?
In southern Indiana.
Really?
That was the roof.
Yeah.
Southern
You had an
Indiana.
outhouse?
Yes, and you know, we really thought we were wealthy when we got a 2-holer. You know, I'm serious.
We were so poor we had to use someone else's outhouse. That's...
Oh, really?
What's I don't mean to be graphic and really upset the congressman, but what is a 2-holer?
Oh, that means that 2 people can go at the same time.
Real close friends.
But why would they want to?
I'll tell you why.
I don't know if I want to hear why.
No, because in the winter it's so cold.
Low in television now?
I think we're out.
No.
Yeah,
This is fact, okay?
I know.
Yeah.
I grew up. Don't you want to hear it?
Not
Why?
really. I think we have to take a break. Oh, yeah, our time's up. We'll be right back.
Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher, brought to you by Saturn.
If you're planning to be in the Los Angeles area and would like free tickets to Politically Incorrect, call 213-852-2655.
Okay, we were talking about gross things and gross images, and it feeds right into our next issue here, which is pro-life folks are going to start, it says here in USA Today, we're going to have large signs of aborted little boys and girls outside of public high schools. The guy says public schools are the stronghold of where the abortion mentality is birthed. Interesting imagery there. But basically that's what they're going to do. Their kids walking into school, into high school, are going to see
See, Planned Parenthood would rather for them little girls to see it privately in the back room in the doctor's office.
Say that again?
Planned Parenthood would rather for the little girls to see that scene privately in the back room in the abortion clinics.
Meaning?
Well, they don't want to see the fetus in front of the high school, the pictures, but they'd rather for the little girls to see them when they go for the abortion at Planned Parenthood clinics.
Okay,
Well, here's the thought.
Makes sense to me.
are you, so you're for this?
Well, I'm for life. I believe that abortion is murder. That's what you're asking me.
But what about standing outside of a high school with pictures of fetuses for the kids
Well,
to see?
I don't think it's as shocking as the little girl watching her own baby in the trash can after they go to the abortion clinic.
Oh, but I think that is so appalling that they would do this. And you know what's interesting about this? Most of the people that I see on television or read about that are involved in this pro-life movement are men. They're not faced. Oh, excuse me, 1 minute. They are not faced with the decision that a lot of these young women are faced with. So I would say don't judge so harshly.
That's a very good comeback. But the fact is that Concerned Women of America has 675,000 women that are also involved in that issue.
Well, I'm sure of that, but what I would suggest is that they put pictures of these men who are always out there shooting people and doing all of that on the school.
But the question is,
What a shift! What a shift! What a shift!
But what we're discussing is the tactic. Is this an effective tactic?
No.
And is this a right tactic
Right.
to use?
No.
Is using violence, if you plant corn, you're going to get corn. If you
Right.
use violence,
You're
you're
gonna
going to
get
get violence,
violence.
especially
How do
from
we
young
get
people who are
violence?
just, well, you're
Pictures.
using
Pictures here.
very, very violent graphic.
Oh,
material.
violent pictures.
Obviously,
Yes.
that's what we're talking
I
about,
suppose.
violent
Oh,
pictures.
And I think
I
we all know it's
suppose-
hard enough to get laid in high school as it is.
Yeah.
Perhaps for you.
can't imagine
Perhaps for you.
That's it. You know, I think.
And you said an outhouse was gross? Excuse me? No.
Yeah, I think they shouldn't be shocked by the pictures because they should have already studied in biology. I mean, if you have decent schools teaching biology, you ought to see how the child develops in the womb and understand
But you
it.
gotta remember-
What should be the big surprise here?
But Chris,
What should be the gross out?
there are
These are
other people
aborted
seeing these
fetuses.
photographs.
Yeah, but
There
kids
are-
should
there
already
are
know what
pre-
they're talking
But
about.
there are elementary schools in the area. There are junior high schools in
Right.
the area. These are kids who shouldn't see these photographs. These are pictures that are going to be right in front of the doors.
The same elementary school girl can go and get an abortion and be escorted by the school nurse.
Well, but we're talking about pro-choice. We're not talking about whether it should happen or not happen.
We're talking
Right.
about the same picture being seen by the same child.
Well, absolutely, but you have to remember that.
One is okay and one is not okay. I'm
Because
confused.
You have
a
to
lot of
remember the
people are gonna
form
see
that it's
these-
being put in.
Yeah.
It's being put in right in the public, right in front of the doors.
So
That
they see it
anybody
in
can see
daylight is
that.
wrong. They see it in the back room, it's okay.
We're not talking about a back room. We're talking about clinics where there are doctors, nurses, trained professionals.
So you're saying that, in other words, because they're professionals,
Yeah.
that the child will not be traumatized by seeing this scene? I
Of
think
course,
that's weak.
Well, you're an educated man. You wrote this.
So I can read and write, that means I have to agree with you?
Well, what I'm trying to say is, not everybody is published, right?
Well, sure.
Right. So you're educated.
But
you're a
everybody has a
professional.
right to be published, including these people who want to stand out in front of the
But
school.
not everybody will be.
But everyone has a right to be, including these people who want to put the
Why do
pictures
they
up in
have a
front.
right to put those on a public school
Well, it's called being an
yard?
American citizen, have the right for free speech. That's what the judge is going
But
to say.
that's not free. Then you're putting that on a child that might not, I mean, have anything to do with it.
I understand the parental problem with something being forced on the child in school. What I don't understand is this, is somehow you're saying the pictures are wrong, but the child who may be escorted without the parents' consent to an abortion clinic somehow is okay. I just don't understand the...
Well, look, I'm pro-choice, but I think you ought to have all the
okay.
information there is available. And I'm for total free speech and total information. And if these guys, these crazy people in Project Rescue, switch from killing doctors to showing pictures, I'm for the de-escalation. I think it's a good thing. Get to the argument. If abortion is okay, let's deal with it. I'm for abortion rights. I don't like choice and pro-life and all these code words. I'm for abortion rights.
Well,
Let's call it what it is.
Abortion is never performed on a woman. It's always performed on a child.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well,
no,
But it's her
wait a
decision.
minute.
Clarence.
Children
we
do
have
not
to
get-
take a
women do not
break.
get
I'm
abortions,
sorry. We'll come
children
back
do.
to that point. Okay, we were talking about, fellas, we're, stop arguing, you're doing it on the air.
We're happy.
Well, we were
agreeing.
talking-
We're agreeing.
Oh, well, that's no good.
Sorry about that. We're arguing.
We'll get back to it. We'll get back to
you'll
it.
get
They
back
were
to
talking
this.
about basketball then.
In a way.
We're talking about opportunity. And that everybody in the country has an opportunity if you work really hard, no matter what color, what religion, no matter how tall, short, what family you come from. If you work hard...
My father, who's the wisest man on earth, said that only a fool will starve in the land of plenty.
Your father was the whitest man on earth?
Wisest.
Wisest.
I'm sorry. Well, that's speaking... I'm sorry. I must have been speaking Ebonics. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I kind of drift into Ebonics
Well,
occasionally.
but I know, now your book is called A Journey from Liberalism to Conservative, so
Yes.
you've become a conservative. What?
I was a UC Berkeley graduate. That makes me a recovering liberal. And I have recovered.
Well, I always say I'd be a conservative if only they would be. That's because
They
I
would
like... And what I mean by that is, like in this abortion battle, I don't understand. It seems like the people who want every baby born are the ones who are just not there when then the baby is born and there's problems for that baby. That's what I don't understand. It's like...
That's called mother and father. I'm not required to take care of everyone's baby. I don't understand that analogy. I've heard it a lot, but I never understood that. What conservatives tip, because it's not mine.
But people could stand outside of those schools with pictures of unwanted children, couldn't they? Couldn't they?
Right.
Couldn't there
Children
be
that need to be
abused children?
adopted.
pictures of crack babies,
And,
pictures
yes.
of children who were born into the world and had no one to take care of them? I don't understand how you can be for
Yeah,
one and not be for the other. I don't want... No.
I'm not for abortion or crack babies. I'm sorry.
But Clarence, what do you do now with the children that, let's say, that are born and people want to give them up and they don't have homes to go to? Where do these children go to? And they have to go from foster home to foster home.
First off, we have an abundance of people who want to adopt babies. The problem is government regulations. We have an overwhelming amount of Americans who want to take these kids in.
Then why do we have the government regulations if
Because
we have
there's
so
money.
many people?
Because there's money in managing. The government wishes to manage social problems. The government has never been able to manage social problems. All they can do is grow the
Wait a
bureaucracy.
second. You're saying the government is making money off adopting babies?
Of course not.
I'm just asking. Maybe. I mean, you're being sarcastic, right?
No, the government. I'm sorry. go
Let me
ahead.
tell you something. First of all, I'm pro-choice, but there are a lot of pro-life people out there who are damned consistent. There are nuns out there who are not only pro-life, but spend their whole lives teaching kids for nothing. So to say that just everybody's pro-life, you just dump them over and say that they don't mean anything.
I
The
don't
pro-life
say that.
position is damn legitimate.
Absolutely.
It's a point of view that it's killing a kid. Now, you can take the position, and I'd prefer they show these gory pictures than shoot doctors. But they're allowed to get emotional about
Why
it.
do-
They're allowed to get
Why do we have to
it's a
choose
free
between
society.
those
Because
two?
because I think it's a life and death issue. And if
Why
that
not
issue
show
isn't
a
worth getting
beautiful
excited
baby?
about.
I don't think there's a whole lot of people go around shooting doctors, number one. Number two,
No,
I'm
there's enough of it.
not sure they're
Just in
legitimately
Florida.
part of the movement either.
But those photographs are pornographic. Just like pornography shouldn't be shown in front of our high schools. Those
Pornographic?
absolutely the pornographic.
Well, they're gross.
Okay.
Right.
Absolutely.
Steve, hey, Steve,
they're not
let me ask you this,
steady.
Steve. Suppose, wouldn't it be a good idea if they show kids who are out standing around outside of recess smoking, pictures of what your lungs will look like after about 20 years?
called a
Let's show those pictures.
But they do
There's
see-
nothing wrong with information.
But you do see those photographs, and you
Yeah.
do see the people with the holes in their lungs. But
Right.
those are in health classes where it's a structured environment and it's controlled, and where the
I'm
children are
sorry,
taught. But the children are taught by a professional. Whereas, but if it's an open atmosphere, all the kids talk, and there isn't anybody to really teach them.
That was when you and I were in high school, but a health class today is how to use a condom.
Well, absolutely, yes, I know that happens too. But I'm certain of that, Clarence. But I think that all I'm saying is, I believe that these photographs can be helpful, but it has to be in the right forum.
They would be
the
like
right place.
a form of birth control,
Teaching
because
biology
these
class.
kids will
Absolutely.
see these awful pictures and they say, my God, I never want to have a child. That's terrible.
Or you can actually, it'll be misconstrued.
Right.
They're not, maybe the release that these anti-abortionists want won't be affected on the children. They'll just be grossed out, or they'll
Right,
laugh,
exactly.
or
I
they'll
don't
think it's
kids are
funny.
grossed out as easy as we would like to imagine them being
Okay,
grossed out.
I have to
think
cut this short
Yes.
because we are
Right
late
ahead.
for a commercial. We'll be right back.
You better get back to the real.
Okay, tomorrow we're going to have Al Franken, Graham Nash, Betsy Hart, and Tony Helen. We only have a few seconds, but I do want to ask, as we go off the air, a provocative question, which is overpopulation. Most people think that that's pretty bad.